I never intended to be specifically an electronic dance music artist. I wanted to record a dance song just for fun. I asked the producer that I was working with at the time if he was like open to doing anything like that, and he was totally against it. And of course, if you tell me no, I want it even more. And I was like, please, it'll be so much fun. And so he finally relented. And I went into the living room, wrote some lyrics down, and wrote like a little song. And that song ended up being Rapture. And Rapture ended up being something that none of us expected to see it become. So I'm really excited about working on my new album. I feel like the biggest challenge for any artist is finding the time to record. I wanted to sort of have a blend of North American artists as well as European artists and international artists as well. Just because I feel like every region has like something that they're really good at. So I feel like the North American understanding of like great songwriting is mixed with sort of like the European expertise on production, and I'm trying to get both of that together and make a really high energy dance album, something that my fans have been expecting and I've been sort of putting out with collaborations, but I wanted to just have everything in one spot. I think the message with the album is like, I've been doing this for 10 years, so I'm trying to get people to understand that there's a songwriter behind the music, there is a singer behind the music, there is an artist personality behind the music, and that's what I want for this album. The funny thing about Pressure is that Nick and I came up with that 2 years ago. We were in Las Vegas during Christmas, and we were just venting about the frustrations of the industry and like how there's all this pressure and how everyone has these expectations and like you get all this heat for like doing this thing, and it kind of just all came together in one place. So when we licensed it to Spinnin' Records, they were really watching what was happening with some of the newer producers. They were watching Alesso, so they wanted to get a remix from him. I loved it from the first time I heard it. But I didn't expect that people would connect to it, because you never know what people are going to connect to. You can have a track with the biggest DJ in the world, and people won't necessarily like attach themselves to that song. But you can have like a song where the message is so powerful, it's irrelevant who produced it. It's an amazing, wonderful surprise, especially because I think it has a very, very powerful message. The reason why I was able to write a song like Pressure with Nick was he was like, Nadia, I want you to do something that's like edgy and cool, and I want you to do something that's like, that like people can relate to, like guys can relate to. And I was like, okay. You want to challenge me? Then let's do it. And we came up with Pressure, The fact that I can be in New York and Sultan can be in Brazil and Ned can be in Montreal, and the three of us can be on an iChat together and talk about melodies and talk about like, kick drums. It's kind of crazy that you can make music with someone that you've never met before in your life. I mean, very similar to the idea of getting your song remixed. It's funny how I met Armin. I was in New York at just a party And my friend was the one organizing the party, and he was like, oh, you want to meet Armin? And Armin at that time was, he was still sort of growing in his profile. So he took me to meet him, and he was like, hey, I love your voice. And I was like, thank you. And he's like, I'd love to do something with you. And I was like, sure, we'll talk about it. And that year, the next year, I went solo. So he got in touch with me, and he said, I'm working on my album. Are you interested in doing something for my album? And we came up with Who's Watching, which remains one of my favorite songs ever written. Just being able to work with somebody that was established like that, just to align myself with him, it was great. And it's been great doing something with him years later now with Feel So Good.
Don't you know it feels so good, it feels so good, it feels so good. You say it's dangerous, you don't want to be exposed, but I know you're lacking this and you're not gonna let it go.
I just love what we were able to do in that studio. Armin is such a hardworking artist. He's so passionate about what he does, and I feel like I write better songs when I'm around people that have a really strong passion for what they're doing. I also have a collaboration coming up with Morgan Page. Morgan's just had a fantastic year with the Grammy nomination of our song Fantasy. We got together last year and we recorded a bunch of songs, and one of them is on his artist album, and it's called Carry Me. And I just did a track with Sander Van Doorn and Sydney Sampson that's on his album. As a follow-up to Pressure, Nick and I actually have worked on a few other tracks, but the one that's coming out next is Keep It Coming, which I think it's a really cool blend of like my Eastern style. Like there's like a little bit of like an Eastern chant in it, as well as like I think there's like melodies that my fans expect of me, and of course the production with Nick. I think Nick's so talented, and I get a lot of people that want to do songs with me, and it's always flattering, but it becomes that much harder to choose which ones to work with. And I think Nick and I have a great chemistry in the studio. He's prolific in the studio. I think the song that I would listen to, like the very last song I would listen to if I had 3 minutes to live, would be Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. I think the lyrics are just so incredible. The whole metaphor of thunder only happens when it's raining, players only love you when they're playing. Like, I just think those are so powerful. The melody's so beautiful that it's hard to deny like how beautiful it is, and that's what I'd want to hear.
The word around town is your